This week's video proudly brought to you by Touchdown Digital, the leaders in web design, maintenance and construction. If you're wanting to, or if you're a landscape photographer and you're wanting to improve the craft or your craft with the understanding of light, texture, colour, form and composition, if that's you, well then maybe this video is for you. When I arrive at a destination, I tend to spend quite a bit of time looking around and pre-visualising the scene. It's a case of spending a bit of time with your subject, meaning the landscape, and then seeing where we go from there. It's imperative that you slow down and take your time once you reach your landscape location, but pre-visualise while you're there. If there's one important thing that one must come to terms with landscape photography and the improvement of it, and that is you must spend time with your subject. In other words, when you arrive at the landscape, don't set up so quickly. I tend to spend anywhere up to half an hour looking at one scene. And effectively what you're doing, first up you're calming yourself down and you're starting to let the landscape come to you, let nature welcome you into their lounge room or its lounge room. So it's imperative that you spend time with your subject and get to know your subject, and in this case it's a landscape. So if you do this, what it does, it enables you to really absorb the area. It enables you to look at things that you might have missed if you just rush to the scene, set everything up and start taking photographs. For me personally, I'd rather take 3 or 4 good photographs than 20 mediocre ones. Now here today, I'm out here at Yarramundi in Western Sydney, just near Richmond. And this area has been devastated by floods over the last 3 or 4 years, and I mean bad destruction. We have 2 rivers that meet here at the junction, and where I'm sitting now was totally underwater, 20-30 feet of water. And what it's left all these downed trees and logs. So I know that there is composition here, but as I just stated, you need to spend time with your subject. Don't think you're wasting time by doing that. You are certainly well on your way to improvement with your landscape photography if you do spend time with your subject, and everything else should fall into place. So having said that, I think it's time to take a few photographs. Okay, for this shot, you'll notice that I've got these reeds here in the water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a long exposure image here. I would say probably around about 60 to maybe 90 seconds with a 10-stop neutral density filter. And I'll also use a circular polarizer. I have the sun coming from my left. This is where you need to take your time, because that sun is now starting to really power on to my left, and it is lighting up the reeds, but not as much as I would like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait for about 10 minutes and then I'll take the shot and then I'll put up on the screen so you can take a look. As I said, there's not going to be many shots here today, but this is just more about an education on what to look out for and to spend time with your subject. It doesn't have to be the grand vista, but just pick out elements within the scene, spend time with them, and I can guarantee you your craft of photography will improve and the art will follow. Well, I've just taken my first shot of the morning, and as I said, this is not going to be a video where there's going to be heaps of photographs for you to look at. This is more about telling you what to how to spend time in the environment, how to spend time with your subject. Now, just behind me here, you'll see this is they're very chaotic scenes here. You've got all these fallen logs and there's water, big water puddles everywhere. And this is why I'm doing long exposure here, to slow it right down. But when you come to a scene like this, you really need to really look, because there are images to be taken here, but where do you find them in chaos? Well, it all goes back to, as I said, about the theme of this video is to spend time with the environment, spend time with your subject. Now, just over here, see over there, there's some composition there that I might take. I'm probably only going to get 2, maybe 3 photographs here this morning, but that's not the point. The point is just to show you that it doesn't matter where you go or where you know what you're looking at. If you can spend time with the subject, things will start to happen. Things will start to appear in front of you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move my camera. I've just taken a long exposure there of the reeds, which I'll show at the end of this video. Over here, I think I've got a couple of things over there, but just I can walk around across the water there. I've got my gumboots on today because it's only just finished raining here. So I'm going to walk around there and see what's there. I haven't been over there. I've been to this side, but I haven't been over there. So fingers crossed, I might find something worthwhile to photograph. Okay, for the next shot, I've moved up this riverbank, and there's quite a couple of nice compositions here. If you have a look over here, we've got all the reflections. I've got the camera set on to the right. I'm doing a 5-minute exposure with a 10-stop neutral density filter, circular polarizer, and a 6-stop half soft edge grad to bring that sky down. Even though it's a bit cloudy, it's still brighter than the floor, which is the water, which you can see here. So this should work out quite nicely. Once again, I've walked around this area for about an hour and a half, and this is only the second photograph I've taken, but I'm spending quite a bit of time here. I've got some reeds down here on the right. That might prove to be quite a nice intimate scene. It's just a matter of walking around and picking off certain aspects of your subject. Once again, spend time with your subject, and I think you'll find you will capture some nice images. It's overcast here again. The sun has now gone behind clouds, which the light is changing dramatically here now. I've got one more shot to my left, which I will show you a bit later on, and I think that'll be about it for the 3 photographs here today. But more importantly, this is about looking at your scene and compressing it all and trying to work out where is the best composition, and you can really only do that, and I know I keep saying this, is spending time with your subject. Just behind me here, you'll see all the fallen timber here. There's a slight movement in the water, not much, but I've got the camera set up, as you can see over here. It's a 5-minute, 30-second exposure with a 10-stop neutral density filter, a 6-stop half grad to bring that sky down, and a circular polarizer. That gave me an exposure time of 5 minutes, 25 seconds. So that should be a nice shot. Everything's ready to go. I've got it on now. But just to reiterate what I've been saying is that this is a really catastrophic area. Nature has just unleashed on itself, and photography wise it's a challenge because there's so much chaos. But then how do you find good images in a chaotic scene like this? Well, as I said, you just got to come out here, spend time with it, talk to it, talk to nature. This is what photography is all about. Gear and equipment and settings, only 1/10 of the equation really. I mean, what I'm doing here today, you can do with any camera, I mean, any lens. Sure, you need the filters, and that's probably the most expensive part out of the whole deal, and a tripod, but by looking at the surrounds and what you have, you can find images. And it's been hard work here today, this morning. I've been here about now 2 hours now, and it's been quite difficult. It really has. But that's a challenge, isn't it? I mean, you've got to challenge yourself as well. That's another thing with landscape photography. It's a challenge. And as Ansel Adams once said, it's a supreme test of man, but sometimes it's the greatest disappointment. And it can be. We don't all take good photographs, let's face it. Let's be honest with one another here. I know I don't, but the ones I get right I'm very happy with. So I'm standing on this sandbank here. You've got pebbles and rocks, and this is now the Nepean River in Sydney. If you look at the map, you'll see where I am around Yarramundi, which is an Aboriginal name for something I don't know. Indigenous people were here, but it really is a serene situation too here. As I said, it's chaotic in nature, but peaceful in its contents. So spend time with the subject. It's so important to get your images right. If you can do that, I think you're well on your way to being a pretty darn good landscape photographer. I found a nice scene here. This will be the last one of the morning. As you can see, we've got this fallen down tree. Sure, it's going to go across the centre of the frame, but I'm using my trusty old 5x5 picture frame. So what I do, I just go like that. As you can see, I'm holding it there. I can move it back and forth. This is going to be about, I'd say 30 millimeters in focal length. I'm using a 16 to 35, my favourite lens. And if I go like that, if I move it that way, no, I've got to encompass the two branches coming off. I've just picked it out with this. I'm spending time with the environment here. I'm spending time with the subject. Got some rocks which breaks that foreground element up a bit. I think I'll take this shot. Try this. You get them from these junk shops. I think I've said in a video, in the past video, $2. You can't beat it. You just frame it up. You look at it like this. It's really good. Just tells you basically what sort of focal length you need, and you can get this done. So I'll take this shot and I'll get back to you shortly. Well, that's it, guys. That's it for another episode of Sniper Photography. The main gist of this video was to explain to you why I think it's important to get to know your subject, being the landscape, and what do you do when you come to a chaotic scene. The scene here this morning was like Mother Nature's construction zone. It was like a building site. But in all the chaos, I managed to find peace and harmony with the three only images that I managed to take here today. I took a few others, but I wasn't happy with them. But the three images that you'll see at the end of this video will prove that if you take your time and you become one with the environment, become one with your subject, being the landscape. Because this was a challenge. This was difficult. This was a really challenging morning here. It's very humid now. We've had rain and the humidity's off the scale here, but it was a challenge. But that's a good thing, because if you've got a challenging environment or a challenging landscape and you spend time with it, things will start to open up for you. And this is what this video is about. I had no idea what was here. I'd been here in previous times when it wasn't so bad, like the way the nature is just unleashed upon itself. But this time round it was a challenge, man. It was really tough. But I managed to get some, well, 3 good shots, I think, using a 10-stop neutral density filter. The longest shutter speed or longest exposure time was 5 minutes 35 seconds. But it basically went from about 2 minutes 30 seconds to 5 minutes 30 seconds. So because the light was changing, the clouds, the sun came up, then it disappeared behind the clouds. So it's a matter of fine-tuning everything as you're going along. But having said that, these images may never have worked if I didn't spend the time here. Been here, what is it now? It's 5 to 9. I was here at 6. I've been here about 3 hours, about 2.5 hours of filming and shooting video and taking photographs. But once again, the gist of this video was you need to get to know your subject. Spend at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes having a good look around, and I did that here this morning. I do that all the time, been doing it forever. But I hope, if anything you can take out of this video today, is that time is pretty critical for all of us. But when you are a landscape photographer and you want to improve your skills and the craft of landscape photography, well, then you need to slow right down and you need to spend time with your subject, being the landscape, and then things will start to open up. I can give you a gold-plated guarantee you could take to the bank that if you spend time with your subject, being the landscape, your craft will improve and the art of landscape photography will certainly follow. So until next time, my name's Glenn Summer. You've been watching Sniper Photography. Thank you for watching this. As I always say, be nice to yourself, family, friends, but most of all, you keep shooting, keep smiling. Bye for now.